store riddled with bullet holes. Tonight, neighbors worry about crime after a man was shot and killed outside a southern Dallas grocery store.
James Browning Jr. was shot and killed around 11:30 at the Dixon Grocery in South Dallas. Police say that the gunman pulled up while Browning was in front of the store and started shooting, leaving dozens of shell casings behind. Browning made it inside the store.
It was right here outside Dixon Grocery in South Dallas where neighbors say the chaos happened.
All these bullet holes.
This grocery store now covered with bullet holes.
16, 17, you see all them bullets, it's like 20 bullets, man.
After police say some unidentified gunman shot 20-year-old James Browning Jr. late Wednesday night.
A Dallas homicide detective is calling out South Dallas to speak about the murder of an unarmed man gunned down outside a convenience store.
Browning, who neighbors say is popularly known as Bubba, was in the parking lot. Police say two gunmen drove up in a white SUV and began firing shots at him.
March 13, 2019. Popular Texas rapper Mo3 was about to experience a tragedy that would hurt him dearly. His close friend, who he refers to as his nephew, 20-year-old James Browning Jr., known to his peers as Bubba, was about to experience an attack that shook the community to its core. That Wednesday night, Bubba was at the location of the South Dallas convenience store named Dixon Grocery on the 3700 block of Dixon Street. The night was drawing on. It was after 10 p.m. Bubba was about the compound, enjoying the night. The owner of the store was always welcoming to him, as he was a regular patron at the grocery store. Bubba was outside of the store, in a white vest and long jeans, minding his business, unaware that assailants were already tailing his location and plotting on ending his life. While facing the direction of the car park, what appears to be a white Dodge Durango comes into view in surveillance footage from the store. The car slowly makes its way past Bubba and drives to the side of the grocery store, while Bubba notices the vehicle but continues about his business in front of the store.
Some guys drive through in a white SUV, looks to be like a Dodge Durango, coming down Dixon. Bubba is standing right next to the front of the door, just hanging out, standing calmly, not being bothered, obviously not knowing what these guys were about to do to him.
The car, pulling around the side of the building, comes to a stop. At this point, the driver remains in the vehicle, while two darkly attired assailants, one of lighter skin complexion, exits the car and begins walking towards the front of the store with firearms brandished.
Two of those individuals get out in dark clothing. One seems to be a lighter skinned male, one seems to be a darker skinned male. The driver stays in the car.
Impending tragedy was about to strike. Taking a closer look at the surveillance footage, Bubba began walking away the moment he saw the SUV drive to the side, as if instincts told him something wasn't right with the vehicle's movements. Bubba continued in a calm and cool manner, passing in front of the entrance door, where he briefly acknowledges two other customers, one exiting to his white car parked outside. A few seconds later, Bubba glances back over his right shoulder, and that was the pivotal moment where his life was about to meet its end. While all of this is happening at the front of the store, the two assailants were getting into position to carry out their attack on Bubba. Once they get into view of the front of the store, they set their marks on the target ahead and began firing a round of shots that let off in rapid succession. The customer heading to his parked vehicle reacts quickly, shimmying around his car to evade the bullets. Bubba also instantly ducks and tries his best to dodge the hailstorm of gunfire while scurrying to his best chance at escaping inside the store. But unfortunately, it was already too late, and Bubba succumbed to injuries sustained from bullet wounds right inside the store. The assailants, completing the task they arrived to do, rushed back to the waiting getaway vehicle to make their escape while still firing backwards. Approximately around 11:30 p.m., the Dallas Police Department would respond to the shooting, arriving to find the lifeless James Brown Jr., aka Bubba, in the grocery store.
Commander for the homicide unit. We're here today to discuss the shooting that occurred at 3752 Dixon Avenue. On March 13th, 2019, at approximately 11:36 p.m., the Dallas Police Department responded to to a shooting at the Dixon Grocery located at 3750 Dixon Avenue. Upon arrival, they discovered the victim, James Browning Jr., suffering from multiple gunshot wounds inside the location.
The acting unit commander for the homicide unit at the time, Calvin Johnson, confirmed that the assailants didn't go after any other individual, but left right after taking the life of Bubba, further verifying that he was the target for whatever reason they may have been. The crime scene quickly became overrun with blue and red light and yellow tape as detectives began collecting evidence and marking out bullet holes and shell casings. In the background, you could hear the anguish, anger, and pain in the voices of locals wanting justice while others mourn the loss of another youth. The search was on for the two gunmen responsible for the senseless act that took one life and endangered everyone in the vicinity of the incident. The night went by, but the signs of the tragedy still lingered on the grocery store, with bullet holes visible about the building. Residents were now left in fear, knowing that the persons responsible are still at large and armed.
I'm scared.
Tamia Hall lives nearby. She's among neighbors feeling on edge, knowing Browning's killers hadn't been caught.
You know, just walking, catching the bus is kind of scary because it can happen in the daytime.
Others recall the unnerving feeling being as far as several blocks away at home enjoying their night when the sounds of gunfire erupt, shaking their surroundings. The collective voice of the community was one of being overwhelmed by the shooting incident that stole another life.
I'm playing the game on my phone and I just feel the walls rattling. Damn.
Antonio Adams says he could hear the gunfire from his home blocks away.
I was like, golly, like it's not even so much a frustration. It's just like sort of getting to the point of being overwhelmed. It's just like, damn, man, another one.
Bubba was gone, and it would leave a scar on many friends and family who knew the young man, not even yet experiencing all life had to offer. Condolences began flooding online platforms that showed just how much Bubba was loved by his peers. There was one person in particular who was feeling the full brunt of Bubba's passing, his close friend and affiliate, Melvin Noble, known as Dallas Rising Star, Mo3. Mo3 always called Bubba nephew, and he saw him as one of his own. They were close and had a solid bond.
So you always speak on this one's for Bubba, and always mention them at the beginning of these songs.
Yeah.
Who is that and what does it mean to you?
The BC4, that's Bubba gang, that's big gorilla, you know what I'm saying? Big general for life, you know what I'm saying? That's my youngin', I call him nephew. My young nigga, man, he died last year, you know what I'm saying? 2019, you see, like, I do this shit for him.
In an interview speaking on Bubba, Mo3 hinted to the lifestyle that Bubba might have lived to have someone target his life. It appears that Bubba was part of the Crips, a gang that is known and established globally with various factions.
He one of the motherfuckers I do it for, you hear me say, that's on Bubba. When if that certain shit right there is for Bubba, that's why I'm doing it for him right then and there. Cause I know this, he gonna say, cuz, he was crippin'. Cuz, you ain't there, cuz, my mom.
Losing Bubba weighed heavy on Mo3, but he moved forward and lived with Bubba always in his heart, wherever life took him. While Mo3 and loved ones of Bubba were mourning, one person was gratifying his passing. A Texas rapper by the name of Kyron Peters, aka Go Yayo. The rapper had a past feud with Mo3 and saw Bubba's passing as a way to poke fun and taunt his rival. Via his Facebook profile, Go Yayo would make the disrespectful comment, "Make all them songs got your partner whacked," ending the distasteful post with a slew of laughing emojis. Needless to say, fans of Mo3 and affiliates of Bubba were not amused and made their grievances with Go Yayo's comment known. Mo3 didn't respond to the taunts directly, but indirectly made it known to anyone that Bubba's legacy is something he always stands in support of, no matter who is the one he'll have to confront for disrespecting the loss of someone dear to him. Sadly, Mo3 wouldn't have the chance to carry on Bubba's legacy for much longer. For the following year, he too lost his life in a similar manner. November 11, 2020, Melvin Noble, known as the Dallas Rising Star Mo3, was gunned down in a brazen broad daylight attack on Interstate 35 East. Two suspects, Devin Brown and Keywan Dontrell White, were arrested for planning and carrying out the assassination. They were both indicted on multiple charges for the attack taking Mo3’s life.
28-year-old Devin Brown was indicted on a murder charge this week. Another man, 22-year-old Kwan Wright, was also indicted on the same charge earlier this year.
It's a tragedy when life has become so fragile that fingers pull triggers without a care for the lives that will be taken and the lives left behind that will be affected. Mo3 was now achieving all his musical dreams and was certain to have become one at the top of the music industry with his passionate vocals and relatable songs. Bubba was but a young man, yet to enjoy the pleasures of life. So much was still ahead for him to experience. Who would have thought the young smiling child would grow up only to have his life taken so violently? To date, the crime is yet to be solved. Hopes are still held tightly for anyone in the community to come forward with information about the vehicle and that deserve to be brought to justice for taking Bubba's life and the cycle of shootings plaguing the streets.
So I need the family, the friends. If you know these suspects, I need you to come forward with that information. Let's do the right thing so that we can all make sure that we bring closure to this case for Bubba's sake, since he can't speak for himself.
How much would it help you if this area talked to you about this white vehicle?
Oh, it helped tremendously. You know, this is the perfect opportunity to build the relationship with the community. This is the perfect opportunity for us to work together to speak for Bubba. He can't do that anymore.
Rest in peace, Bubba.
It's been a long time. I was raised with a pistol on a little street, far as lane and dear.